Go up.
Oh, I hate you, Facebook. Come on. No.
Let's see.
Yep. That actually might be
Maybe over here.
bang. I'm gonna so text my client to give me this little put on the back of your phone to help.
Wedge that in there.
That's perfect.
There we go. Alright, so we're live. We're just gonna wait until a few people come in. If they don't, they're gonna be watching it later. When Danielle and I did it, there was like 120 people watched it, and then we got up like 1,500 later. So
It's pretty cool.
let's make sure
Mine on. Yep.
Yeah.
Saw it. See that? Yep.
when the first person comes in, then we'll know it's working for sure. Yep, there's one person. Okay. So we're ready to rock. All right, what is going on, everyone? My name is Michael Hartman, the owner of Formal Fitness Training. We're here with the second annual Coffee with the Trainer, something we're going to be doing every month. I pretty much have guests lined up until January at this point. It's where we answer your fitness questions, your nutrition questions, your supplement questions. Basically, any questions you have, put them in the comments. We might get to them some point during the show, and we have a few that you guys have asked previously. I'm here with a guy that I go back with about 10 years. We worked at LA Fitness together. He came over here to Why Missing Fitness. I asked him if they were looking for any independent trainers, and he made things work out that I was able to come in here, and the rest is history. He's the head personal trainer over here. He's somebody I respect. I love his knowledge. He's constantly learning, constantly working on personal development. His name is John Monteleone.
Monteleone.
Monteleone. First time I ever said that. So, all right,
First
John. That's right.
So I've been in personal training and health fitness industry for over 10 years. Credentials, National Strength and Conditioning Association. I have my CSCS, that's Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. I'm Certified Special Population Specialist in the American College of Sports Medicine. I'm an exercise physiologist certified. FMS, Functional Movement Screening, I'm level 1. Level 2, I just completed my fundamental capacity screening, and I'm Titleist certified as well, level 1. My big two specialties are exercise and aging. 70% of my clients are over the age of 50. It doesn't mean I can't work with anyone, and I also sports performance. So I work across the gamut, a lot of prehab, post-rehab, and performance setting. I just love helping people. So if it didn't matter if I didn't go into this career path, I would have done something to just help people, and that's why I get up at 2:30 in the morning. That's why I get after.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, John posts a picture every morning of his watch at 2:30, and I wake up at about 4:20 every day, and I find that I'm kind of a little soft, 4:20. But we have some of the same ideas, I think. I wake up in the morning and I kind of run through my workout of the day and how many people I'm going to be working with. I get an idea of what I want to do with them, set down some goals and things like that. So, I know you do some things like that as well.
Absolutely. So I'm always big on goal setting, personal goals, and also professional goals. I'm big on you never have to be the smartest person in a room. You just have to show up before they do. So if the smartest person shows up at 8 a.m., be there 2 hours before them. You have a head start, and it's just an advantage. That's why I post. This industry, like any other industry, is going to adapt and evolve every 2 years. So what we know now will be obsolete 2 years from now. Hence, constant learning, constant growing. And then we live in a world now where it's about networking. It's about knowing people, and not just I know certain people, but the more you get to know people, that helps expand your brand. I'm the head trainer of 2 20,000 square foot facilities. I have 8 trainers on staff, and there's 8 other independent trainers. So it's making sure we always maintain quality in what we're doing, and always make sure we're taking care of our communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there are some of the nicest facilities that you'll ever find. So if you've never been over to Exeter Fitness or Why Missing Fitness, give it a shot. It's only $5 for the day pass, so it's a little plug there. So we have some questions which came in prior to this, and we're going to just kind of, John can answer them, I can answer them. We can kind of just have a little discussion here. It's an open-ended type of forum. But we were asked how to promote stress production. How do you promote stress reduction in your day-to-day life?
How to promote or how to reduce it?
How to reduce.
So I'm very big on, there's a great book, it's Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits is be proactive. So getting up early, before I go to bed each night, I write down the 5 things that have to be done the next day. And then I don't think about my work day at all. I'll read, I'll go to sleep. And then when I get the next day, those 5 things are there. Then I attack them. How does that reduce your stress? You're walking into your day already prepared. So you're not overwhelmed and you don't become reactionary. So getting up, doing those things. You don't have to get up at 2:30. But if you get up early enough that you can plan your day as such, by the time you go into work or even start your day, you're in what I call autopilot. So anything that does occur throughout your day, you can plan and you can move forward with it. And that's such a key. If you want to know how you reduce stress in your day to day, it's just planning ahead and then taking the action to execute that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Andy Frisell. He does something that's called the power list, which is very similar. It's the 5 critical tasks that you have to get done every single day. And I think that's really good for reducing your stress because you have some things you can kind of check up along the way and keep your goals in mind. But from a fitness standpoint, I'm a big believer in foam rolling and deep tissue massage and meditation and things like that, and just doing the cardio and things like that to get the endorphins going. So from that standpoint, it's definitely a major stress reduction as well.
Exercise in general is just major for stress. Obviously, if you're watching it, you're like, wow, there's 2 trainers discussing how great exercise is. Obviously, that they have a bias. But if you look at five things every successful person does, it does not matter the industry or what you do for a living. The number one things people do is they sleep. The second one's always going to be exercise. Third one's goal setting. 4 is what you eat, and then 5 is how you manage your stress. That goes back into the other 4, and that's how they all tie in. So yeah, it's biased, sure, but it's factual and it works.
Yeah, definitely. I had some notes that I wrote down of things I wanted to just touch on with this, and alkaline, anti-inflammatory foods. What you eat, you touched on that, and it's just like getting those fruits and vegetables in, and keeping as high quality of the food you can afford and you can handle. That's the best way to go. Your organic meats and your organic fruits and vegetables, it's definitely the way to go because it plays a big role in sleeping if your sleeping habits aren't good.
My girlfriend's a personal chef. Shout out to Clean Joan Food. So she has a great line, and I'm very thankful because I eat well also because of her. But it's eat foods that are plants, don't eat foods that are made in a plant. That's pretty straightforward. And she said that, I was like one of those, you're like, oh, mind blowing.
Yeah,
I was
wow,
like, that
yeah.
makes total sense. Because food, if you look at a lot of the health issues now, and I mean, it's a completely other topic and we can have, but a lot of issues we have are not eating food anymore. We're eating food products. That's a big issue.
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of those things help keep your cortisol down, which is another reason where your stress will stay reduced. So it's one of the primary reasons you're trying to keep your stress down, keep your cortisol down, which is the stress hormone, which is released in your body. A lot of times if your cortisol gets out of whack, that can actually prevent you from losing weight. Everything, yeah.
Cortisol will actually be affected by, as Mike mentioned, your hormones, or the food you eat. The food you eat can offset a lot of your hormones. Not going to propagate like, oh, don't eat gluten, don't eat carbs. But there's a great book. I'll throw another gem out. Read Grain Brain by Dr. Perlmutter. Pretty straightforward of what reading is affecting us, especially our hormone level.
Yeah, that was a good book. I read that one as well.
It's magic.
It's magic. All right, so our second question we have is, what are some tips for getting hormones back into balance for weight loss and performance?
Ooh, that's a great one. 2 magical things. Sleep. Nope. So here's another thing. There's a great mattress they call it Sleep Number. What's your number, how you sleep? It's great. It's magical. Good marketing. But you should know how many hours you need to sleep. And if you don't know, it's a great time to test that. They usually always say the average number is 8. I sleep 5, probably because I am crazy, but I tested it. I tried to sleep 8. I found out I was tired throughout my day. So I dialed back an hour. I did 7. It was the same thing. Did 6. And now I'm just at 5 now. And I found out 5, I'm optimal. I can go longer. The point I'm making is the amount of sleep you need is going to be key, and it's quality sleep. Quality is so key. You can sleep 8 hours, but if you only have 3 hours of beneficial sleep, you're going to be tired. You're sleep debt. And nutrition. Again, what you put in your body is going to definitely affect your hormonal balance.
Yeah, and, sugars and fats, the things that are going to be spiking your insulin. So you want to, keep your artificial sugars and your fast digesting carbs to a minimum, which is going to help balance everything out from there. Making sure you're eating high quality protein at every meal. That's another thing which is going to keep your ghrelin production up. which is a good thing for your body. And as John said, high quality sleep and be moderate with your food intake. You don't want to be eating too much food, and you also don't want to be eating too little food. I think that's another thing that people forget about as well.
Absolutely. And that's another thing. Like I'm a, like a better term, I'm kind of a weird bird. I do intermittent fasting, so I actually only eat 2 meals. So I do eat heavier caloric intakes in one setting, and then don't eat the rest of it. But that works for me. I'm not advocating that's going to work for everyone else. However, if you have your 3 square meals, maybe a snack in between, and as Mike said, have portion control, and that helps so much. And honestly, what does all this tie back into? It's routine. If you have a balanced routine that makes sense for you, performance is always going to improve, your sleep improves, quality of life, and that's at the end of the day, that's what Mike and I would say definitely care about. It's quality of life. That's why you do this. That's why you get up and get after it every day.
Well, it's interesting that intermittent fasting came up again because Danielle and I were talking about that last month, and I fast between 12 and I eat between 12 and 8 every day. So I do intermittent fasting from 8 p.m. until 12 every day, and then I do kind of like John. I have 2 major meals, and then I break my fast usually with a smoothie or a protein shake, something a little lighter. Then about an hour later, I'll have a giant lunch, so to speak. And then when my wife comes home, we'll have our dinner together somewhere between 6:30 and 7 o'clock at night. And they're both higher meals. And you can do a lot of research in intermittent fasting, but what is your particular reason for doing intermittent fasting?
Productivity. I'm somebody, I got into it because I was like, how can, at the end of the day, the one thing we all have when we lose every day is time. I don't care where you are in life, only thing you have is time. And I'm not trying to get philosophical, but I look at then, how do you maximize every day, every hour, every minute, every second? I started researching intermittent fasting. I found out I slept better. I didn't need as much food as I thought I needed. I didn't need to eat as frequently throughout a day. And if you notice then, if you don't have to eat as much or focus on it, it's one less thing you have to stress about, right? And we just discussed about how you mitigate stress. One less thing you have to think about. So then I'm very big on routines. It's probably part of my type A. So I eat basically the same meal at my breakfast and also at my lunch. But that helps me mentally because then I don't have to think about anything else. I eat at 3 a.m. and then I eat again at 12. I don't eat the rest of the time. Next time I'll eat will be 3 a.m. the next day. I've been doing that for 8 months now. It'll be 9 coming up here. But I've noticed that, again, productivity's gone through the roof, and it allows me to have that advantage throughout my day. I get to maximize my time.
Yeah, and for me, it's less decisions that you have to make. I mean, everything, my clothes are laid out the day before, my coffee's laid out the day before. I literally just get up, throw my clothes on, and I'm ready to rock. Take my coffee out the window. You don't have to worry about cooking a major meal or anything like that. Now you eat your meal first thing in the morning.
Absolutely. So I'll eat at 3 a.m. and then I do my workout at 4 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
Very straightforward, and I've noticed then, my first client I'll usually see is at 4:30 in the morning or 5 a.m. and then I rock and roll till about 12, 1 o'clock. So it's a great way I can get my food in, I can get my workout in, and then I can still take care of my clients and provide a good service, and that's so important to me to do.
Yeah, that's another major point that is worth touching on is training inside your feeding window. If you're going to do intermittent fasting, it's okay to do a little bit of cardio and things like that while you're fasting, but I'm a big believer in you can maybe do your lifting, but as soon as you're done with the lifting, you should break your fast or break your fast beforehand so your performance is enhanced from the caloric intake which you're getting in. So trading inside your feeding window, you're generally going to have more energy and you're going to retain a lot more of the muscle that you're building.
Okay. I don't do that, but that definitely works. I'm somebody, I'll eat my meal, I'll work out, and then I won't eat again until 12. And I just kind of keep it moving at that point. That's worked for me, but again, this is never a one-size-fits-all approach, and I'm a big believer in it. You got to find what works for you and be comfortable to test it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, because 4 a.m. that's not a time where I work out. So I mean, obviously, I would have to play around with that if that was something I did. Absolutely. I normally work out at 2:30, so I'm already in my feeding window.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Valid points. So third question was, what are our personal thoughts on keto, the keto diet, and what we think are the pros and the cons of that?
Keto, I do like. If you're trying to focus on weight loss, it is beneficial. I'm more of the controversial side. I think it is beneficial. It all depends on the individual, which is a key point. And lastly, anytime you label someone a diet, it's a red flag. Don't do anything it's a diet. Do something that you know it's a lifestyle that you can sustain or support. If you're looking to crash weight, I probably don't do that, but then again, I'm also saying avoid diets.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who have lost significant amounts of weight on it, but I also know people that have lost significant amounts of weight and then gained it back because they started, refilling their glycogen stores again. They couldn't sustain it. There's a thing they call it the keto flu. So sometimes the first, 7 to 10 days you're on a keto, you can have some issues. You can have some nausea. You can have some hard time sleeping, things like that. So definitely something worth looking into. And as I've said millions of times, the best diet's the one you can stick to. So if you can't go off carbs for the rest of your life, keto's probably not it for you. That's my opinion.
Makes total sense.
All right, this one's in the wheelhouse for us. I mean, being fitness guys for sure. Everybody comes up to us and they say, hey John, I couldn't walk for 4 days after our workout or something like that. And what are the best ways to minimize post-workout soreness and delayed onset of muscle soreness?
Hydration, water. More often than not, we're not drinking enough water. I'm not saying, I was like, not taking shots, but don't be that person that has to walk around with a gallon of water. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. But hydrate. Nalgene bottle. Very appropriate. And it's classy. Looks very nice. You have the pinky out. That's a whole other conversation. Hydration. Foam roll after your workout. The most optimal time you want to static stretch is typically at the end of your workout. Static stretching, you're holding those stretches for anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. And then soreness, let's keep in mind with soreness. I'm not big on this whole concept of no pain, no gain. Sometimes that does make sense. It all depends on what you're doing. But if you feel the need that you have to be sore the whole time or you're debilitated or incapacitated, either check the type of trainer you have, check your workout you're doing, because something's off. You should not be that sore every time. That's usually sometimes a red flag for overtraining.
Yeah, soreness is not always an indication of a good workout.
Correct, absolutely.
And then I also, would touch on your warm up and your cool down, come in, get a little blood flow going before you hit the weights, maybe 10 minutes at the most of just getting your heart rate up to around 60%. Cool down is just, finishing your workout and just letting some of that lactic acid work out. I'm a big supplement guy. I'm not sure if you are, but I do a post-workout shake always, and that's 20 to 40 grams of protein. It really depends on the person and their body weight. Their lean body weight. So if you're 300 pounds and your lean body weight is 180, I always base everything off of the 180. So the calories and the macros are based off of your 180. So say somebody's 140 pounds, they just did a strenuous lifting exercise, I always recommend about 20 grams of whey protein isolate along with some type of insulin or glucose. That can be from fruit, that can be from an artificial glucose type of thing. But the glucose basically helps shuttle the protein into the muscles, so it's going to start your recovery right there. And then along with the foam rolling, as John said, and everything like that, it all kind of goes hand in hand. And, I thoroughly agree with you. Sometimes you might be overtraining if it's something where you're sore walking around all the time, and you might want to take a look in the mirror and say, hey, I might need a day off. Like John said, I'm going to steal one from you here. Not taking any shots, but if you're working out 7 days a week hard all the time, you probably need a week off. You need to rest and recover as well.
It goes back to your cortisol.
It goes right back to the cortisol, 100%. So the last question we have right now, so as I said before, if you have any questions, please put them in. We have Formal Fitness going here. We have John's page. We have my page going. The last one we have is, how often should I train abs?
Ooh, do you want to take a stab at this one?
So we were talking about this a little bit right before here. We have an intern here from Penn State. And
shout out Sydney.
Shout out to Sydney. But she was saying that, you should be training your abs during all your workouts. And I agree wholeheartedly. If you're doing structural exercises and compound movements and things like that, your core should always be activated. Now, I personally believe in doing 1 or 2 days a week, maybe 3, where you really isolate the abs for 10-15 minutes at the end of your workout. I like doing planks and side planks and maybe a little bit of rotation and things like that. For the most part, I stay away from sit-ups and crunches because I have a lower back injury. So if you have any type of lower back injury, you got to be careful with that type of thing. But I do believe in stimulating the abs, not annihilating the abs. There's something to be said about these ab programs, which is 27-minute abs or ab ripper, and it's an hour and a half. I mean,
you need 25-minute abs, not 27, 25.
25?
I'm kidding, don't do that.
Yeah, so I think your abs can be rocked in 3 to 5 minutes. That's just my opinion.
I'm more of a different school. I'm very big on functional. What does functional mean? It's movements you do literally every day. You're going to activate everything. Your core should be activated, and core is a cliche term in this day and age, right? Your core is just below your chest to just above your knee. So that's your glutes, that's your abs, that's your obliques, that's your transverse abdominis, it's your serratus anterior. It's all these muscles that people don't get caught up. So the point is, why are you training your abs? If you're going for aesthetic, which completely respect, everyone likes to have that cheese board greater abs. Put that in context. That's not training your abs. That your abs are made in your kitchen. It's what you're eating. So it really has nothing to do with doing maximum amount of sit-ups and planks. Planks are beneficial. Sit-ups, I tend to take clients away from, because at the end of the day, you're finding out you're not really strengthening your abs. You're actually training your hip flexors, which is good. But if you've been seated at a desk for 8-10 hours a day, I'm not going to strengthen your hip flexors because your low back's weak. So now we're creating an imbalance, and that doesn't help you. So at that point, if we really want to attack your core, attack your abs, the planks, as Mike's mentioned, side planks, that's Big Stuart McGill, your bird dogs. At the end of the day, your core is not designed to create movement. It's actually designed to prevent movement. Where is it designed to prevent movement? It's your spine. You want to keep your spine neutral like Switzerland. Shout out to delicious chocolates and watches. So if you keep that spine neutral, your core actually has to stay engaged. It's kind of like a corset. So it's like Victorian era situation. And we got a question real quick. Margaret asked, how do we know if you're hydrated enough, and how much water should you be able to be drinking?
So I believe you take half your body weight. And so if you weigh 140 pounds, 70 ounces of water would be your minimum amount of water. And then I think you should add 16 ounces for each additional hour of physical activity per day.
Can you say that one more time?
So half your body weight. So if you're 140 pounds, that would be 70 ounces of water. And then for each additional hour of activity, you would add 16 more ounces of water.
I like that. I'm kind of big on this, what the old school's what, eight classes a day or something like that. Now it's kind of a myth. It's not 8 straight glasses a day. If you have 8 glasses of fluid throughout your day, don't make it soda. Please don't do that to yourself. But if it's water, you're gonna have your coffees. You're gonna have some type of stimulant like that. That's fine. But if you're having those 8 glasses of fluid, that's usually gonna be beneficial. So either way, I like the scientific approach personally.
Yeah, and there's a major argument going on right now. For the longest time, they said coffee dehydrates you. For every 8 ounces of coffee, you need 16 ounces of water to rehydrate it. But now they're saying coffee doesn't actually dehydrate you. So as John said in the very beginning of this, every 2 years, everything gets flipped upside down. So you got to stay on a leading edge of what science is showing you at that point in time.
Or what they're manipulating.
Yeah, always check who's doing the study.
Absolutely.
It's one of the biggest things I think I learned at Penn State. You know, the number one thing is, check your references, find out who's funding the study. If the dairy board is running the study, guess what? Milk is your number one protein source. Just remember that. Cheese. Yeah. And all the artery clogging things that come along with it. But yeah, I just wanted to go back to the ab thing for a second. If there's anybody watching that's trying to lose a significant amount of weight, don't come to the gym and have the first thing you're doing is crunches. I see very overweight people doing a lot of crunches, and that's not going to do very much for you for burning calories or anything like that. Start in the kitchen, start on your cardio, and go from there.
Best way to train your abs in the gym, do exercises that are metabolically demanding. What does that mean, John? What language are you speaking? Your squats. Why do trainers love squats? It's the most metabolically demanding exercise. It hits all 3 planes of motion, and there's 200 skeletal muscles that are activated when you move. That's magic. That's magic. That's the best bang for your buck. So you imagine if you're going through 3 sets of 10, you do a slow pause. If you ever notice why your heart rate's up, it's because you're moving a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's being lit up and active, aka your core, and that's how things get up and running.
Yeah, if you've ever done squats for real, you know it's hard.
For real, for real.
For real, for real. So, that's all the questions we have right now, unless anybody wants to throw one in the next 30 seconds or so here.
Okay.
Just give you guys a second to put anything in if you have it. And then, if not, I'd like to thank John for stopping by here today.
Thanks so
and he was here anyway, obviously. We're here at Why Missing Fitness again.
I sleep here.
He sleeps here. But yeah, pretty much we're trying to do one of these every month, and I'm just going to give John a second to give any last minute advice, where you can find him, anything John wants to say. And if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll wrap this up. John?
You can find me on Facebook, John Monteleone. Like I said, I'm the head trainer at Why I'm Missing Fitness and Training and Exeter Fitness and Training. My Instagram is at Cardio Leone. My last name's Monteleone, Heartline, no big deal. And then Twitter is the same thing. I'm very responsive, so if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is john@yofitness.com, john@yofitness.com. And at the end of the day, when it comes back to your health, what you're eating, what you're doing, it comes back to quality of life. And if you're not sure, that's okay. Be comfortable with challenging what you're doing. What do I mean by that? If you're not sure how much sleep you need, how much food, be comfortable to test it. There's no wrong. It's finding out what works best and it's right for you. And that's so key to life and improving that quality of health.
Monteleone.
Monteleone. It means mountain lion in Italian.
I got it that time.
Science.
Science. So thank you for watching the second Coffee with the Trainer. This is Mike from Formal Fitness Training. Out.
That was awesome.